Oh, sorry. I was just wondering when my tutorials are.
Oh, same as last term, except, of course, for this week.
You didn't take me last term. My name is Heasman, Carol Heasman. I'm replacing Mrs. Granger.
Mrs. Granger?
Yes. She said she didn't get to see you often owing to administrative tangles.
Mrs. Granger got into administrative tangles?
No. You were busy with them.
Oh, if only they'd let us get on with it and teach. Anyway, you'd better come at the same hours as Mrs. Granger then, all right?
I expect so. What were they?
Could you find out from Mrs. Granger, please?
I'll try.
Thank you. Oh, I didn't care for that one at all. There was an air of mad devotion about her that reminds me of my wife's mother, the mad monk. But tell me, the butcher and the traffic warden, do they know?
Know what?
Oops! Oh, sorry. I was just dashing off to the registrar, some administrative tangle. Mrs. Granger, isn't it?
Miss Heasman. I can't find Mrs. Granger, but I'm very anxious for a session on a winter's day.
Oh, good God, are you really? Yes. Well, keep trying, and perhaps by next week I'll... look, I go this way. Bye-bye. Thank you very much indeed, nurse. I think that's the lot.
I found Mrs. Granger. She said she would have come to you on Tuesdays at 3, if you'd been able to see her.
So be it. Tuesdays at 3, then, with our fingers crossed.
Today is Tuesday.
Ah, well, I wouldn't have been able to see her again today, I'm afraid, and she'd have needed a week in which to do me an essay.
Poor Mrs. Granger. But I'm all right, as I'd done one. I haven't put a title on, but I thought Hate and Redemption in a Winter's Tale.
Needs work, that title.
Don't you want to read it before the tutorial?
No, no, you have to read it aloud to me. Unless, I tell you what, yes, leave it here with me, and I'll do my damnedest to have it read by, next week.
No. I'll read it aloud. 3 o'clock, then.
Hate and Redemption. I told you she was mad.
Hermione's reawakening. The statue, restored to life after a winter of 16 years' duration, is, in reality, Leonte's reawakening, spiritually. And, of course, the most moving exemplification of both the revitalization theme and thus of forgiveness on the theological as well as the human level.
Level?
Yes.
The human level?
Yes. Shall I go on? The central image is drawn from nature to counterpoint the imagery of the first half of the play, with its stress on sickness and deformity. Paradoxically, A Winter's Tale of a Frozen Soul...
Bit fishmongery, that.
...is therefore, thematically and symbolically, about revitalization.
Sorry, revitalization.
Revitalization.
Thematically. And symbolically so, eh?
Yes.
Hmm.
The The central image, no. I've had that. In this context, it...
Can you see? There. Oh, sorry. No irony intended. Context.
Yes. In this context, it might be said that Leontes represents the affliction that is a universal and so contingently human evil. And in this sense, the sense of a shared blight.
A shared blight, yes. How much longer is it exactly? Look, I tell you what. As our time together is drawing to a close, read the last 2 or 3 sentences so that we can get the feel of your conclusion.
Ready?
Please.
So just as the seasonal winter was the winter of the soul, so is the seasonal spring, the spring of the soul. The imagery changes from disease to floral, the tone from mad bitterness to joyfulness. As we reach the play's climax, we feel our own spiritual sap rising.
Sap.
Sap.
Sap. Yes, I think perhaps sap is a better word there than some others that spring rhymingly to mind. Good. Well, thank you very much. What do you want to do? I mean, after your exams.
Teach.
English.
Yes.
Yes, I suppose that is more radical than being a teacher of exams, for which I think you're already qualified, by the way. I hope you'll take that as a compliment.
It isn't meant to be one, is it? But whatever you think of my essay, unless I do well in the exams, I might not be able to be a teacher.
Teacher of whom?
6th forms, I hope.
Isn't it more exhilarating to catch them earlier? 6th form teachers are something like firemen called in to quench flames that are already out. What do you want to do next week?
We have to cover at least 6 Shakespeares.
Oh, from what I've heard already, Shakespeare's as good as covered.
Could you please write some comments on this?
It's a good thing to be merciless. It comes in useful when dealing with the young.
Believe it or not, you can be as rude as you like. I don't take it personally.
That's another good way of taking the fun out of teaching. Good afternoon, Miss Heasman. Bloody girl.